Bueno, muy bien. Pues siendo las 9 de la mañana, vamos a dar inicio a nuestro evento. Les recordamos que el programa del día de hoy lo vamos a llevar a cabo en idioma inglés, ya que, bueno, nos acompañan importantes asistentes por parte de diferentes cámaras de comercio y embajadas en diferentes países de Europa. Y bueno, me va a permitir comenzar con el programa. So, good morning. My name is Héctor Tijerina, Executive Director of Invest Monterrey, the investment promotion agency of the state of Nuevo León. It is an honor for me to be here today, September 9th, 2021, to welcome you to the first edition of our Invest Monterrey Business Talks Europe. On behalf of Invest Monterrey, we would like to thank everyone present here today for joining us. First of all, to our special guests, thank you for being here today, participating in our conference program. Most of our special guests have traveled from outside Monterrey, so thank you. Thank you very much for being here today. Also to our important partners from the public, private, and academic sectors who are with us today, including officials from the 3 levels of government, the main business chambers, universities, real estate developers, consulting firms, among many others. We also extend our thanks to those who are accompanying us virtually today, especially the ambassadors of Mexico in Europe and the ambassadors of European countries here in Mexico. We also thank the representatives of European companies and organizations who are joining us today, the general public interested in the development of business between Mexico and Europe. Thank you, everyone. Finally, I would like to thank the University of Monterrey, UDEM, and its dean, Mario Paez, and his collaborators for the support provided so that this event could take place in the facilities of this prestigious university. So, to start our program for today, I will allow myself to invite Mr. Andrés Ochoa Bunzo, Chairman of the Board of Directors of Invest Monterrey, who will share a welcome message formally inaugurating the Invest Monterrey Business Talks Europe 2021.
Good morning, everyone. As most of you know, Invest Monterrey is the economic development agency fostered and launched by the Ministry of the Economy and Labor in conjunction with Consejo Nuevo León and with the close cooperation of close to 100 founding members of the organization, comprised of the main business chambers and organizations, clusters, the 4 largest universities, and a cross-section of companies engaged and committed to the attraction of capital to our state and its comprehensive economic development. As widely published earlier this week, Nuevo León has consistently led the nation over the last 6 years in the attraction of direct foreign investment. This is no coincidence or surprise. This is the result of the concerted effort of a community focused on excellence, with effective leadership and convinced that the success and well-being of its general population can only be assured if the success of businesses that operate in the state is assured. And it is precisely with the intent of showcasing our state's salient resources that we have gathered today to share information with our membership and our invited guests on the effective business linkages that exist and are being further developed between Europe and Monterrey. And to that end, I am very proud to introduce to you the distinguished members of the Blue Ribbon Panel that Invest Monterrey has assembled for all of you today by order of appearance. Mr. Alexander Noriega, CEO of Mercedes-Benz Buses Mexico. Ms. Nancy Sanchez, General Manager, Grupo Lego Mexico. Mr. Rory O'Kane, Director of the UK Department of International Trade. Mr. Andreas Mueller, Adjunct Director of the Cámara México-Alemana de Comercio e Industria, CAMEXA. Mr. Antonio Basagoiti, President of the Cámara Española de Comercio, CAMEXCOM, and Eurocam. Mr. Jorge Pedro Aznar, Head of the Economic Section of the European Union Delegation in Mexico. And Mr. Jose Zapata, National Sales Director of Aeromexico. We are extremely proud to have you, ladies and gentlemen, with us today. Let this occasion serve as a rekindling of our ever-growing and strengthening relationship between the state of Nuevo León and various European jurisdictions. This relationship and these linkages have existed for many decades. Let us work together to make sure that we can continue to build on them for the mutual benefit of our respective populations. But without further ado, allow me to introduce Mr. Hector Tijerina. Well, he has already presented himself, Executive Director of Invest Monterrey, who will speak to us precisely about the existing linkages between Nuevo León and Europe and the competitive advantages that these linkages lead toward our state. Hector?
Okay, thank you.
Monterrey, a city of possibilities. Strategically located in North America, facilitating connections around the world. Monterrey is Mexico's business hub, home to the most advanced infrastructure in the country. Invest in Mexico's largest recipient of foreign direct investment, where the world's most prominent international companies are established. Monterrey is Mexico's second largest city. Invest where you'll find a young, talented, skilled, and hard-working labor force. Where the best-ranked universities and the largest engineering schools are located. Become part of an innovative hub with the most technologically advanced operations. Live and work in a smart city, where fast data and cutting-edge technology sustain the highest quality of life in Mexico. Establish and expand your business in one of the country's most secure cities, where different cultures create a vibrant business community and people are passionate about work and play. Enjoy music, sporting events, outdoor activities, and nightlife. Welcome to Monterrey, land of business, land of possibilities. Invest Monterrey.
Okay, so thank you again for being here and joining us today. I will share a brief presentation that highlights the main competitive advantages that make Monterrey the best place to invest and do business in Mexico, for everyone present here today and for everyone joining us virtually. So, I forgot. Okay, so where is Monterrey? Probably everyone here today joining us knows where Monterrey is, but for everyone joining us virtually, Monterrey is located in the northeastern region of Mexico and has a direct access to the North American market. Mexico has a USMCA treaty signed with the US and Canada, which promotes and guarantees free trade in North America. So for every company in Europe interested in establishing operations here in Mexico, you can be sure that this treaty will allow you to do business not only with our country, but with the whole region of North America. Our connectivity is one of the best in North America. These small planes represent direct flights from our international airport. So as you can see, we have direct flights to all main hubs in the US, from where you can fly almost anywhere in the world. We have a great connectivity through highways and through our railroad infrastructure here in Mexico. We have the highest GDP per capita, and I will allow myself to share with you some economic data. So basically, with just 4.6% of the population in our country, our state contributes every year with between 7 and 9% of the total GDP in Mexico. So this is a good example of the economic importance that our state has for the Mexican economy. We are leaders as well in attraction of foreign direct investment. As you can see from this graph, our state ranks atop in Mexico in terms of foreign direct investment attraction. It's been almost $19 billion since 2015 that have arrived to our state, more than any other state in Mexico. And all of this foreign direct investment goes to different industries, but especially manufacturing industry. Monterrey is also called the industrial capital of Mexico, and this is a good example of why. So almost 65% of all foreign direct investment arriving to our state goes to manufacturing industries. Where is this foreign direct investment coming from? So in terms of number of projects, most of them come from the US. 211 projects come from the US since 2015. After the US, there's countries like South Korea that recently, from a huge investment by Kia Motors, multiple South Korean companies arrived as well to our city. But then we have the European countries, which have been steady investors in our state for more than 25 years, like Germany, France, Spain, Italy, UK, and many others. So I'm going to share some information about European investments in Monterrey. So our state is the second largest recipient of foreign direct investment from Europe here in Mexico. So after the state of Mexico, Nuevo León and Monterrey is where European investments prefer to invest a lot more in our country. So as you can see, it's almost $17 billion since 1999 that have been invested in our state by European countries. Europe represents almost 30% of all the foreign direct investment arriving to our state. So Europe is the second largest source of foreign direct investment for Monterrey. This is a graph that shows how foreign direct investment from Europe has been arriving to our state every year. As you can see, there's an unusual year in 2010 that is related to a Heineken Group investment that was made by acquiring our local brewery, Cervecería Cuauhtémoc, back in 2010. And in average, European countries invest $730 million every year here in Monterrey. Some of the companies that are successfully operating here in Monterrey, in total, there's more than 790 European companies operating here in Monterrey. These are some examples of well-known European companies. And as you can see, they invest here in Monterrey in many different industries. So they find in Monterrey a place where they can invest in many different industries. We're not just focused in one specific one. So there's many examples like the companies joining us today, like Daimler, Mercedes-Benz, Lego, Siemens, Schneider, Brembo, Philips, and many others. And finally, how are these European investments in Monterrey behaving in terms of the source, by country? So the Netherlands, mainly driven by Heineken, has been the largest investor in terms of amount of investment. followed by Spain, UK, Germany, and Denmark as well. So in terms of number of companies, Spain leads the number of European companies here in our state with 168 companies, followed by Netherlands, Italy, Germany, and Denmark. Well, coming back to the main competitive advantages that make Monterrey very attractive for foreign investment, we have our people. We graduate every year more than 21,000 technicians, more than 8,000 engineers, more than 20,000 bachelors, and Monterrey is the city in Mexico with the largest percentage of its population with a PhD or master's degree. We also have the most productive labor force in Mexico. As you can see from this graph, this is the output in US dollars per hour compared to other states in the country. So as you can see, Monterrey leads in terms of productivity as well. We've been also 20 years without a strike. So there's labor peace here in Monterrey, which is something very important for companies, European companies, looking to establish operations in North America. We also are, besides everything related to business, Monterrey is also an educational hub. We have more than 150 universities, from which we have a couple of them that are the most well-known universities, one of them being the University of Monterrey, UDEM, where we are right now. And these universities, every 6 months, work as talent magnets. So they attract young people, young students, young talent from all around the country that are looking to establish in a city in Mexico where they can find great universities and a great education. And something very interesting that happens every 6 months when we have graduations is that most of these young talent graduating from these universities that came from other cities in Mexico decide to stay here in Monterrey because they realize in Monterrey they will find better job opportunities and a better quality of life in most cases. So this is important for companies that are arriving every year to our city because they can be sure that they will find young talent every 6 months. We've been shifting into Industry 4.0. So in the last couple of years, the government, the private sector, and the universities have been working together in order to launch an initiative called Nuevo León 4.0, through which we've been improving the industrial technologies that happen inside factories here in our city. So we've been shifting from manufacturing to manufacturing very successfully in the last couple of years, and there's already many examples of high-tech companies operating successfully here in Monterrey. We have a technology park. This is a good example about this. So this technology park is very close to the international airport. It currently hosts around 30 R&D centers. There's companies like Schneider Electric, PepsiCo, Navistar, also the main universities in our city, but also universities in Mexico City as well, like UNAM, have operations inside the technology park. And in total, there's more than 3,000 people working there every day. We have more than 140 industrial parks in Monterrey. Some of the most well-known industrial developers in the country are based here in Monterrey, and this is a good example of why we're also called the industrial capital of Mexico. And this gives a lot of opportunities for companies from Europe to establish in many different options all around the state. We also have an ecosystem of 13 formalized clusters. These clusters are business associations that represent different strategic industries for our state, like the automotive industry, Aero Cluster, which represents the aeronautic industry, IT and software, home appliances, energy, tourism, health. So in total, there's 13 clusters that have worked together for the past 15 years in order to strengthen the economy of Monterrey. So continuing with the examples of foreign capitalized companies operating in Monterrey, we were talking about European companies, but there's also companies from all around the world. So this is another example of some of the companies, well-known international companies that successfully operate here in Monterrey. This is an example for the automotive industry. Then home appliances, food and beverages. As you can see, these are very well-known companies that have been growing as well in the last couple of years here in Monterrey. IT and software, energy, and many others. For us, this is very important because it talks about the diversity of our economy. And finally, the highest living standards in Mexico are here in Monterrey. Our city has been growing a lot lately, so most of the buildings you see around the city, most of the tall buildings are less than 15 years old. But there's a vibrant community, there's many shopping centers, high cuisine restaurants, certified hospitals. So it's a city that is ready to host companies from all around Europe and to host as well expats from your companies interested in having a good quality of life here in Mexico. So finally, Invest Monterrey, we are an investment promotion agency. We organize events. We offer, we like to say, business concierge services to companies from Europe that are interested in establishing operations here in North America. And finally, I would like to close with this quote: Monterrey is always, always open for business. Thank you. Okay, so continuing with our program and giving way to our special guests today, we would like to invite to this stage Dr. Alexandre Nogueira, CEO of Mercedes-Benz Buses Mexico, who today will be sharing with us the success story of this prestigious German company in Mexico and in Monterrey. I will allow myself to share a brief bio about our special guest. Dr. Alexandre Nogueira, CEO of Daimler Buses Mexico, is an engineer, master in electronic systems at the Polytechnic School of USP, doctor in economic development and international insertion at USP, began his professional career at Daimler in 1994 in the engineering department. After several periods as an engineer and project manager at Mercedes-Benz Brazil, he worked for 4 years as director of the trucks production workshop in Latin America before taking charge of the trucks production planning at Mercedes-Benz Brazil. In 2015, he started his activity at Daimler Buses as director of bus operations at Mercedes-Benz Brazil. He has also served as, he has several international experiences in Germany, in the United States, and now in Mexico. Since 2019, Dr. Nogueira is the CEO of Daimler Buses Mexico, leader company for 27 continuous years in our country. Thank you, Mr. Nogueira.
Thank you very much, Hector. Thank you, Andreas, for the invitation. It's really, really a pleasure to be here in this fantastic event and showing a little bit the history of Mercedes-Benz in Mexico. We're very proud to be in Monterrey, so our plant is located here in Garcia for 27 years. So we've been market leaders for the last 24 years in Mexico. So let's go through. I invite you to see a little bit from this story and also to have a flavor on what we are going to do in the future to shape the future of mobility and a showcase where mobility is going to be also in the future. Let me see how this works here. Let me see if I can do next page. Yes. So Daimler Buses. We have, as Daimler Buses, a global presence. We are all over the world with different plant locations. Let me see if this is working. Can you hear me from here? So we are present all over the world, from Latin America, North America, in Europe, our main locations, and also in Asia. So we are number one in all main markets of buses worldwide. We are number one in Germany, we are number one in Mexico, we are number one in Brazil, in Argentina, in Turkey, and we are established in many other countries providing mobility. So in Mexico, we are pretty much part of this network. So and why we do this? What's our purpose? So our purpose is we are there for all who keep the world moving. So that's our purpose. That's what moves us every day to wake up in the morning and to go to our jobs. So we want to provide the best mobility solutions for everybody who is moving the world. We do that, and indeed, we are passionate by buses. We are passionate by mobility. We do that with pride and love. We are, as Mercedes-Benz Buses, undisputed leaders in mobility solutions. So it's not only to provide the best bus, it's to think, to understand our customers, to understand the needs they have, and to propose the best solution for them in a long-term perspective. Here's some numbers. As I commented in the beginning of our presentation, so La Casa de Autobús, that's how we are known in Monterrey, so that's our plant, and this plant is a reference in the manufacturing industry in Mexico, where we develop everything. So from the beginning to the end, from the assemblies to the parts production, to the parts assemblies, to the testing of the products, the engineering side, everything is there. It's 23 years of consecutive leadership in Mexico. So we are very proud of it because this leads us to a responsibility of from our customers. So the things we deliver are pretty much everything we are, and this is a lot of heart in it because we know that responsibility as this market leadership. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that today, but these are not the public numbers. So we have today 45% of the market in the bus industry in Mexico. So it's very important participation. So we have, as I said, a development center, so Mexican engineers with a German knowledge and interface together with Brazil. So we are really connected from the development point of view in the game. So it's not that we just bring products here, so we do the products which are suitable for the Mexican applications. And we also do international projects, and we participate fully in the international projects developments to contribute for systems developments to other countries as well. So we have the broadest portfolio in buses in Mexico, from the very little buses to the very heavy buses, from 30 people to 210 people together. So this is the portfolio we have, and not only the portfolio in terms of products, also we have services. We say from beginning to end of the life cycle of autobus, we are there, so offering services. More than 100,000 units sold in this country in the history, and we are also leaders in mobility solutions. So systems, intelligent systems for mobility, how to offer a complete solution to our customers. So in Garcia, more than 950 units produced, and number one worldwide, and this 42 is now 45%, so market share. So we have a relatively small team, but really dedicated to the production, to the engineering, to sales organizations, after sales. And we are not counting here controlling, legal, compliance, all the other service areas which we share with trucks colleagues also here in Mexico. And also we kind of support the generation of more than 1,000 direct and indirect jobs in the full kette, in the full chain of suppliers and partners in our collaboration. And we have national suppliers also, so we have been developing pretty much also local suppliers who work with us. Of course, the more national parts we have, the more flexibility it will be for production, so it's easier to get the parts. We do not have to have inventories. We do not have to plan the volume sales 6 months before, so it gives us really pretty good flexibility on to behave and to react in a proper time to the market demands. So, of course, how we do this? So everything has to be done with responsibility. So when we say we deliver buses, we say we deliver buses with passion and with a full responsibility in many, many directions. So we say we have to take care of environment, we have to take care of natural resources, and we do have a resource, natural resource preservation in our plant Garcia. We have to think together with the governmental institutions on the future of mobility and the cities. How is the best way to develop it, and how can we best contribute to that? In terms of safety, safety is number one rule also together with environment and all these others for us, because we transport people, we transport families, we integrate families in getting together, so in getting to the work. So we are pretty much aware of this responsibility, and safety is retracted, of course, in our processes and also in our products. Responsibility for usage of data, and we know world is becoming more and more connected. So how we use data. So and all the rules and on how to take care of the data of our customers, of our companies which are in collaboration with us, our suppliers. So we pretty much take care of this, and also in our company we stand for human rights in all directions this represents. Our Garcia plant, here a beautiful picture from the entrance from our plant. So 27 years of experience since January 1994. It's a big area, so more than 500,000 square meters and 42 square meters of constructed area. We have all the certificates you can imagine, so from quality, social responsible company, so family responsible company. We are a pretty much inclusive company, so we have been awarded as, for the second time already, as the best company for LGBT plus community to work. So we have been working pretty much on diversity. We know diversity is key. We understand it, and we want, we want everybody in our company to be who they are, independent from religion, independent from gender, independent for everything. So everybody has the right to be who they are in the company and behavior who they are. So that's our basis, that's our foundation, and upon this foundation we create then the buses we deliver to the market. Our development engineering center, proudly Mexican, and there, as I said, completely integrated in the development network from Daimler. So we have really everything we need to have, from designing to testing, prototyping, everything, every areas, every systems we can do in Mexico to deliver the best products for Mexican markets. So this leads us to 23 years of leadership in Mexico, as I said, with full responsibility, and of course having these fantastic products as a basis to be present and to accurately deliver the right vehicle to every application, to every demand from our customers. So a beautiful picture, you can have an idea. So as I said before, very little buses to very, very big articulated buses are provided from our plant. And now we have to, this is what we are today. So this is pretty much what brought us here to the position we are today. So we call this a core business. So this is our core. But once we invented the automobile industry, we have been thinking pretty much about the future. So what will be next? How can we draw the future of mobility in Mexico and as Daimler thinking worldwide? And then we have our project called CASE. CASE stands for so maybe if I can come back here. Yes, CASE stands for, the C is for connectivity, A is for autonomous driving, S for shared services, and E for electrification. So these are 4 pillars and 4 elements we consider as basis, as the driving lines for constructing the mobility of the future. And every element of these has a power to transform the industry. But we do believe in a mix of these 4 elements in the future. So maybe not all at once, maybe in different moments. So we understand, for example, for electrification, we need not only the technology of the vehicle, but also the technology of the infrastructure to be ready to do so. Connectivity is something that will be developed. So this is a green field for us. So you imagine today the bus that we have today as a bus, as a hardware, can be connected. And then you open the door for softwares, for applications. So you can develop various things from different perspectives. So what kind of systems we can develop for our final users, what kind of systems we can develop for operators, for the cities, for the bodybuilders. So everything is new. It's really a new area where we can play. So that was not existing before in that volume. So and this really represents a full transformation of our industry. So we are coming from core to case. And maybe these 2 words will exist in parallel for a long time. But that's the way, and we are very happy to be the generation to support this transformation in our industry. So here, some inputs of the potential of everything. So today we are in a world where we can deliver the buses, we have the after sales, we have the parts, we have the services, everything. So and each function. So it is our basis. So and then we migrate to other world, a new world of IT in after sales, in financing, consulting, etc. So many things that we can develop. So only a flavor to you, again, on the systems we can develop. I mentioned already the connectivity. If we go, for example, for infrastructure, so the charging points, how this is going to be developed, how can we integrate, how is the best way to integrate the infrastructure to the products, how to develop the cities in the future to come to the best solution to that. If we think, for example, in financing, so new thinking also in there. So why do we need to buy a bus? And can we lease a bus? Can we have shared services? Can we think different also here? Can we provide other services and other solutions to our customers? And if we think, for example, in ITS, intelligent systems, so there you can imagine one operator having buses and having to decide on where to put the buses, in which routes, in which lines, and how much buses. And then there is a peak in the beginning of the day, a down afterwards in the middle of the day, and maybe a little one in the lunchtime, and again a peak in the end of the day. So how much buses do I play here and there to have the optimum operation for the point of view of the final customer, to have the buses when they need the buses, for the point of view from the operator, and also from the point of view of the cities, because the city maybe will be supporting this transport system with the subsidies. So very interesting world which is in front of us, and we are pretty much excited to shape the future of mobility, we say. So shape the future of mobility is what we do, is where we are working together. So together with CORE, so that we are in this transformation. So basically, I end my presentation here so saying the passion to invent will never cease. So this is Carl Benz words, and we think he was right. So when we continue believing on this, again, thank you very much. This is us. This is Bus. Very quick presentation. I hope you like it. So I'll be happy to answer any questions now or afterwards if you have it. So please just contact me. And thank you again, Andreas, for being here, for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, so we will share with Mr. Dr. Nogueira an acknowledgement from our President of the Board, Mr. Andrés Ochoa Bunso.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Sí. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Nogueira, for this valuable participation. Continuing with the program, we invite to the stage Ms. Nancy Sanchez, General Manager of Grupo Lego Mexico, who today will be sharing with us the success story of this important Danish company in Mexico and in Monterrey. I will allow me to share a brief bio about Nancy. So Nancy Sanchez has a degree in mechanical engineering at the Faculty of Mechanical and Electrical Engineering at the Autonomous University of Nuevo León. From the beginning of her career, Nancy Sanchez has focused on industrial engineering and specifically to the quality and engineering areas, being quality and engineering manager in companies of the automotive and home appliances sector. It was in 2009 when Nancy Sanchez began working within Lego Group to become part of the quality team, being later promoted to different positions, including quality director, senior director, and vice president in charge of molding of the Lego Group in Monterrey. Currently, Nancy Sanchez is the general director and senior vice president responsible for the Lego Group in Monterrey, which manufactures almost all the Lego products that are marketed in the American continent and represents around a third of Lego's worldwide production. Nancy, thank you for being here.
Okay. Thank you, Hector. Let me remove this because if not, you will not be able to hear well. So thank you, everybody, and really nice to be here. I'm super happy that we have the opportunity to share our experience and the history of the Lego Group in Mexico. So let me just share a little bit of how it has been our journey on this country. But to start with, I would like to share a little bit of where we are and who we are as a company. So we are a family-owned company. Our headquarters is in Denmark, and we were founded in 1932. The Lego name, maybe you are wondering why we are calling it like that. It is a composition of two words. In Danish, it's let godt, which means play well. So that is our name coming from. Right now, this year, we have been nominated as a number one in reputable brand, which we feel very proud. And also we are located in more than 120 countries around the world. I will take one of these because I was not able to have the other one. We are a global team. We are having different hubs in different countries. As I said, our headquarters is in Billund. It's a small town in Denmark. And we have different hubs in London, Enfield, Singapore, and Shanghai. And we have different factories around the world. In Mexico, we are here in Monterrey, in Ciénega de Flores, where we are also in Billund. In Denmark, we are having one in Czech Republic, and one in Hungary, and the China one. Also, we have 37 offices of sales around the world, and we have around 678 stores also around the world. I think that also we are very proud that a part of our headquarters, Mexico is the only country where we have all our different entities, because we have the sales office in Mexico City, we have the factory here in Monterrey, but also we have Lego Education and Lego Foundation also present in this country. Just to give you a little bit of how it has been the transformation of the Lego Group through the years. As I mentioned before, we were founded in 1932, and believe it or not, at the beginning we were not making bricks. When the founder, Ole Kirk Christiansen, was founding the company, we were focused to make wooden toys. And at the beginning, that's why the dog that you can see here, it was one of the iconic toys that we used to make in the beginning of the history of the Lego Group. After that, in 1958, we patented the brick that you can see right now or up to date on where we are. And then in 1978 is where we introduced the minifigures, where we were able to start making a lot of storytelling and bringing a lot of histories in our products for the kids to develop the creativity. In 1999, we were able to introduce the Mindstorms, where we start putting the robotics inside our products, and it's where also we were part of a lot of the educational part in many countries with this, and it has been evolving for all the fans that we have for the robotics. In 2017 is where we developed our Lego Life app, which is one of the more safe channels that we have for the kids below 13 years, where they can share experiences and they can share also the creativity part that they can put on the media and share with other kids. And in 2020 is where we start introducing and mixing the digital play with the physical play. Because we were making some studies with different universities where we see that the physical play is still very relevant for the kids. So we were thinking about how can we stay true to our core business, but at the same time, we are also making sure that we are living in the world where our kids are pretty much focused on the digital, so they do not see the difference between the two things. So we were able to find something to see how can we combine these two and still stay relevant for our kids. We have been also investing a lot on the long-term vision on how we want to move as a company. We have 4 pillars that we are making these investments. The first one is innovating play. Also, we are making a digital transformation for the company. We are also innovating and expanding our manufacturing capacity and always taking care of our environment. So just to give you a little bit of details, what do we mean with each of them very fast? In the innovation play, as I said, we need to make sure that we stay true and we still stay relevant, not only for kids. I think that also we have seen in the latest year that our product is appeal for everybody, for all the ages, because this is just to help us to continue having the creativity and being active on the thinking. So these are some of the examples that we see that we are trying to combine and make different products for different kids and adults too. So we are also investing a lot on how can we continue being innovative on the learning to play. Digital transformation, I think we have to accelerate the digital transformation as many other companies here, right? Why? Because the world is changing a lot, so we have to, we are investing a lot of money, not only on the channels and the way that the people now is buying our products, but also on the way that we make our products. We are investing a lot in different technologies, in robots, and see how can we do more with the same, but at the same time, we are able to have the flexibility and react to the world changes that is happening very fast in the last years. In environment, we have a really ambitious goal. By 2030, we are committing to change all our products to have sustainable material. And by 2025, we are committing to change all our packaging to have sustainable packaging in all our products. So this has been a long journey for us because, you know, all the products that we make are out of plastic, made of plastic. So right now we have been making some changes. So in 2018, we introduced the first elements made by sustainable material that are coming from, they are called bio-PE, so bio-polyethylene, where they are coming from the sugar cane. So in a lot of our products, you can see the plants, the trees, the leaves are made already with material that is already recycled. Another thing that we are doing in this sense is we are already having some prototype with some PET, elements made with PET, that is coming with the discarded bottles. That nobody is using anymore. So we are also trying to see how can we make sure that our products can be made with the same quality and the same safety that we have up to date, because one of the main characteristics that we have with our products is that if you have one element that was produced many years ago, it has to fit with the new ones. So we need to make sure that also, even though we change the material, it is still usable for our people, for our kids. And regarding the expanding the manufacturing capacity, I think that we are in a very good moment right now as a Lego Group. So we have also started thinking about how can we produce more, but how can we make sure that we are still competitive in the way that we produce. I think in this case, we have invested a lot, and I will share a little bit more information about what are we doing in Mexico, but we are looking at what are the other countries where we can place our investments, how can we continue also changing the way that we produce our products to get better, utilize our assets in the best way. So we have, as I mentioned before, the factories around the world. As you can see here, Monterrey is the only factory that we have in Americas. It's the largest factory that we have in the world. We represent 30% of the production worldwide. And everything that we do here, we send it to our distribution center in Dallas. So now I will focus a little bit more on what we do here internally in Nuevo León. As it was mentioned by Hector, we started up in Nuevo León in 2008, where, let me just go back a little bit here, just to say everything that we produce, as I said, it is exported to the United States, and from there it is exported to the whole American continent. We are exporting around 100 million sets every year, and we are doing this through our bridge in Colombia. Just to give you a little bit some of the figures on how we have been growing in Mexico. As I said, we started up in 2008. We started up with 5,000 square meters, and we were around 173 employees at that time. We just have 56 molding machines, 4 lines, and we were able to produce around 1 million elements daily at that time. 6 years later, in 2014, we were able to increase our capacity, and by then we have more than 150,000 square meters, where we were up to more than 2,000 employees already. We installed 768 molding machines, where we were able to produce around 76 million of elements daily. And we also increased our capacity in packing, and we were able to introduce the last process that we were not able to make in Mexico before, that was the decoration, where we are bringing the life to our products. But due to the great performance that we have in Mexico, the company started investing in Mexico, and they decided to even acquire more land to continue growing here. So we were able, and right now, up to date, we have 83 hectares of land here. Right now, we are around 4,300 employees working in there. We have 760 molding machines, and you can probably ask, before they were 768 molding machines, and now we have 760. And the reason is because, as I mentioned before, we have been investing a lot on technology, on see how can we utilize better our assets. So we introduced a new concept that we have high volume molds, where we are able to produce much more elements with the same or even less molding machines. So up to today, we are able to make 85 million of elements per day. We have 56 processing lines, and we have 98 packing lines here. And in this slide, is just to mention a little bit on how the investments has been in Mexico. We are right now invest around $600 million US. This is in lands, buildings, equipment, and we have 3 different automatic warehousing to move all the elements around our campus. This is our campus so far, and the way that we project the growth in Mexico. We think that we can continue investing in here. We are able to bring more and produce more boxes to bring more experience to kids. So as you can see, the green area is the one that is already existing in our factory. The one that you can see in there in blue is the one that we are right now making the construction. We are making a new processing building. We are making some bridges because we need to cross the street in the campus, so we need to make sure that we are able to move our components from one campus to the other. And also we are making some energy building. The part in red and the part in beige are the ones that are still in the process or the possibility to grow in the future. I think in this one we can double up if we have, as I said, we have a street in the middle, so we can make 2 campuses similar on the same area. Due to the great momentum that we have right now in the Lego Group, we don't have enough capacity to produce. So we just have to rent 2 external warehouses close to us in order to make sure that we are able to have more capacity in our factory here in Mexico. So we already installed 18 extra packing lines in 1 external warehouse, and right now we are making the preparation to install 200 extra molding machines to start up in January 2022. So we will be able to have a little bit more million of elements daily to produce more boxes. And we are able to employ around 1,000 more people there. So with this, I think that for the companies that are listening to us, I think that we are, with our example, demonstrating that Mexico is a good place to invest. I think that we are having a lot of benefits being in a position, in a geographical position, very strategic, very close to our main markets that we have. And also we have been able to prove that we have a skilled workforce. We are very hard work people. Here we have developed a lot of competences. We have been able to develop all the different processes that we have in the company. Also, we are able to make our own molds because we have the technicians that we need to make sure that we can create the products that we need. So I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here and also to share our great story. I really hope that we continue even growing in Mexico and bringing more play experience for more kids here and around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy, for sharing this very interesting success story of Lego here in Monterrey. We hope everything keeps moving forward for Lego here in Mexico and that you continue to grow here in Monterrey. So continuing with the program, we would like to move on to our next panel called Trade Relations with Europe and its Outlook for 2022, for which I would like to invite Mr. Rory O'Kane to the stage, Consul and Deputy Director of the Department for International Trade of the United Kingdom. I will allow myself to share a brief bio about Mr. O'Kane. He joined in November 2019 as Consul and Deputy Director of the Department for International Trade Mexico. He leads the DIT's office in Monterrey and Guadalajara in the delivery of trade objectives, trade support for UK companies, and support for investment into the UK. Previously, he was the DIT's HQ in the Financial and Professional Services team, covering the fintech trade and investment strategy for the Americas. Previously, in the private sector, he had worked in Spain in business development for an Andalusian tile company and in the US as a project manager for a construction company. He was born and raised in the north coast of Northern Ireland. He has a passion for travel, sustainability, and has worked as a volunteer for the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty of Animals. So thank you, Mr. O'Kane, for being here today. We are also joined in this panel by Mr. Andreas Mueller, Deputy Director for the Mexican-German Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mr. Andreas Mueller studied international relations in the universities of Passau, Germany, and Concepcion in Chile. Since October 2003, he lives in Mexico and worked as an advisor to the commercial delegate of the Austrian Embassy in Mexico. From 2006 on, he was a commercial advisor at the delegation of the European Union in Mexico. There he was responsible for the follow-up of negotiations of trade facilitation measures in the framework of the free trade agreement between Mexico and the EU. In September 2011, he became Deputy Director of the German-Mexican Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which represents 800 German companies in Mexico. He is responsible for the services provided by the Chamber since 2018. He is also the president of the Skills Council for Renewable Energies and Energy Efficiency. Thank you, Mr. Mueller, for being here. Thank you. Okay, so I would like to first thank you again for joining us today in this event and for being such important promoters of the business relations between Mexico and Europe. The countries represented in this panel, Germany and the UK, have been steady investors in Mexico and in Monterrey for more than 25 years, with companies from your countries not only creating important job opportunities here, but also bringing knowledge, technology, and business opportunities for small, medium, and large local companies. Thank you. Thank you again for joining us today. I would like to start with the first question, and this one is for the two of you, whoever wants to start. Can you please share with our audience today an overview of your country and its main economic strengths?
See, can you hear me now? Good. As I have the mic. Okay, well, we've heard about diversity already today and the strength of the diversity in Monterrey here. And there's not one single industry I could point out in the UK which is, you know, our star player. You could say technology, but technology goes across so many other industries and enables them. And UK is becoming more and more of just like a leader in innovation in the global stage. We've been bouncing back economically from the pandemic because that's, you know, it's affected everybody all around the world. And as it stands, I think the UK's due to rebound the best, or maybe joint with the US and the G7. So, you know, that's a sign of the resilience of the economy. But I often say, follow the money. You know, where's the money going? And the foreign direct investment during 2020 was expected to decrease by like 40%, as it probably did around everywhere around the world. But in fact, it was only, we only took a hit of like around 17% or so on. And I say that was as well thanks to, you know, the strength and depth of the innovative companies that are out there. And there was a particular increase in biotech and pharmaceutical companies for all obvious reasons as we still try to fight this pandemic. But yeah, I mean, what I think is also key in the economic resilience of the UK is how we grow and how we reinvest that money. You know, it's yes, we want to sustain certain industries, but we also got to move on with, you know, what's happening today, what's happening tomorrow. And as I say, you've got these tech companies that are, you know, they're changing the world as we speak. Like, we didn't hear about Uber, you know, say 20 years ago. I mean, that's my best friend whenever I'm going abroad and trying to, you know, go around places. And like, even last week there, I was in Madrid, and I must say, just a special thanks to everybody who worked hard to get the direct flights, because one flight is better than the 3 that I had to take coming back to Monterrey, I must say. I'm looking forward to those direct flights from here. But yeah, and the flight coming back, you know, there's a digital service on board, and it's not just in-flight entertainment, it's Headspace, the mindfulness app, because it's predicted by like 2050, almost half of global trade is going to be digital, and so that's where we got to move, you know. The world's becoming more digital, and the pandemic is actually, for better or for worse, accelerated that there transition. So as I say, you know, we got to be ready for it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation. Very great to be here in Monterrey again in the public event. It's really great. Thank you for organizing it and to having us here. I was thinking, I was just looking up a term in English, which we use very much in German. As many of you may know, we are very into dual vocational training, and we are working on that very hard. And I was looking for a term which is based in our law for professional education, and what I found is the term of operations. And maybe this is something that Germans are very good in. I would say this is we know how to produce, we know how to bring things to the ground. So I think this is one first asset of our economy, and it's based in this kind of training, you know, because everyone learns how to run an operation from all these kinds of what you need to know. You have to inform yourself, you have to be able to exercise what you have to do it very well, you have to control it, and you have to evaluate it. And this is a cycle of quality
we have intrinsic in everyone who's working in Germany. So this, I think, is one asset our economy has. And we also see it in if you compare the digitalization, which is one of our main topics in the world, where Germany stands out is Industry 4.0, which is how to produce something. The Americans are very good in understand the customer by Internet of the Things and platform economies. You just talked about Uber, which is an excellent example of that. But what Germans know to do is how to produce something. So again, it's Industry 4.0, which is our topic inside the digitalization topic. So we have very good approaches how to process data when you produce something, how to get the best out of it, and to produce better. Also the product design and everything. Another thing I would like to point out is sustainability, because this is something very deep in our culture and very important for German industry in Mexico. Not only Mexico, and all the world. We come to stay. That's, I think, a big difference maybe to other investors. And as we want to stay, we take care of our environment in all the senses, on the social part, and the economic part, and the environmental part. So I would say, and this is also shown if you see German companies. Siemens is almost 130 years here in Mexico, Volkswagen 60 years. I don't have the figure for Mercedes, but 27 years. So Bosch also 50 years. So these companies come here to Mexico to stay, and as we do that, we do things that we are welcomed, that others perceive us, that we want to be here for a long time, and that the business what we want to do is in a good way.
Thank you to both of you. So as it was highlighted today, Europe is Mexico's second largest trading partner and investor here in our country since 1999. So, and for many European countries, Mexico is their largest trading partner in Latin America. There is a mature and strategic partnership for both sides. But of course, there's definitely a huge area of opportunity to keep building up this economic relationship. So with your experience in our country, which would be the biggest areas of opportunity that you see in Mexico for companies from your countries interested in expanding operations abroad? Where do you think the strengths of our country or the strengths of your countries match these areas of opportunity that you see in Mexico?
I want to go back to sustainability, where the challenges are and also the opportunities. First, the challenges. Well, the current government is not really helping to keep the agenda which Mexico was setting on the world stage for climate change, for all these, and with former governments. So this change is challenging for us, because our main industry is automotive here, is chemical industry, health industry, and we have to produce in a sustainable way, because this is what the customer wants from us. It's not only an electric car or an electric bus, it's a bus or a car produced sustainably. So this is a big challenge, that this clarity and this protagonism also Mexico had before is gone. So this I would say it's a big challenge, and we really hope that Mexico comes back to track, because it has such a huge opportunity there. You have such a lot of sun, you have wind, you have everything. So we really hope it comes back, and Mexico comes back on track and takes a leadership again in climate change and these topics, and to be able to produce renewable energies in Mexico. And the majority of our companies, they're using it already, but to not have the clarity and also for the supply chain to have access to that, because the big companies, it's easier to do it in their production site or whatever. But for smaller companies, which we have a lot here, obviously in Mexico, we have 2,200 companies. and the majority are small and medium enterprises. So they really need also this access. So this is a challenge, and we hope we can overcome this soon. And we as a chamber, we're also working together with the German corporation, GIZ, now on the federal level on that, also here in Nuevo León and other states, to at least on that level to increase the use of that. So this is one challenge, but we hope we can overcome that. The second one I would like to stress is, again, the dual vocational training, because we see we have something in common, no, as the German economy and the Mexican economy. So this is our focus and production. Our economies want to be in an open global economy worldwide, and we want to produce something. There are not many countries anymore in the world which have this vision. You have maybe Korea, you have Indonesia, China obviously, and Turkey, but to be in this competitive global economy is something we have in common, and what we also have in common is this great spirit to work. You know, I think in Mexico this is very, although the common stereotype in the world is different, but we live here and we know Mexicans really know how to work, and they like to work, and they really work very well. So if we combine that with maybe our knowledge how to implement this in a good operational way, and to focus in a complete cycle of quality, and you get this inside of you. And I think if we get that together by a dual vocational training, we really can boost our economies together.
Well, I'd say looking at the demographics and the projected growth for Mexico, it's just such an opportunity, and we keep saying that to UK companies. And with the growing middle class and the projected growth of working people in the upcoming decades and all, there's, you've got a big consumer market there, and in the kind of short, medium term, you'll have demand for quality products, and you've got luxury UK brands within your Jaguar, Aston Martin, Mini, Range Rover. They're all over here, and they, offer quality automotives. I have to say openly here, I drive an Audi. I just love German engineering. So maybe I'll get to the salary where I can get an Aston Martin someday, but Audi's good for now. But yeah, and then you've got also within the consumer products too, where people become a bit more health conscious, especially after the pandemic. There's this push even from the federal government about the labels and so on. It still needs a bit of work, but if consumers are starting to be more conscious about their health, then you've got quality free-from products and so on coming out of the UK. There's a lot more health conscious companies there with sustainable values. And then as well, we're talking about the hard-working people here. I mean, yeah, I definitely see that every day. And some of the team we have here locally just, they punch above their weight day in, day out. It's that, trabajador regio and everything. But they're, recreational, we all like to enjoy ourselves. And I think one key example of the kind of merging of markets was Don Julio was acquired by Diageo, UK, big drinks portfolio company, but it was all basically like a swap deal, because they wanted to bring quality whiskey, and that was Bushmills whiskey, which is just beside where I grew up. People back home still don't even believe me. They said, "What? Bushmills is owned by a Mexican company?" Yeah, by Cuervo. That's one of the romantic deals, but it's just to say, it's sharing the best of our products, and services as well is key in the globalized world. But moving more forward, I thought it was very, very interesting and positive to hear what Governor-elect Samuel Garcia was saying there last week in California about adopting green policies and so on, and Nuevo León and its green agenda. That that's going to happen sooner or later. The way the world is moving with the commitments to net zero. I think it was Los Angeles made a 2035 commitment. I think I just saw that this morning. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But what I like to think that we can offer from the UK to address those challenges is enabling technology And we actually saw, I mean, one of the best recent examples was Cemex, who's the biggest Latin America investor in the UK. They invested in a UK startup called Carbon Clean, which captures carbon dioxide and stores it, which is a really key part for big industries like that. And so there's a partnership and there's an investment there, and I know it's a win-win, and that's what it's all about. It's about, it's not about putting the foot in the door and trying to really sell something. No, we shouldn't have to sell it. We should just have to present it and let that end buyer decide. So within, we've already just recently built up a portfolio of clean tech companies that are interested in Mexico. Even one, there's some of them already active here. One of them is down on the coast, and they built an artificial reef to help protect the local ecosystem. Some of these, things are fascinating, and they're happening as we speak, and they're helping to solve these challenges, and make the country more sustainable as a whole, and then help industries adjust to these new commitments to protect the planet. And just one final thing I'd say is, still staying in the kind of tech field, is fintech is a big opportunity in waiting here in Mexico because of the financial inclusion. And the UK's kind of evolved from being, financial services hub and to being like a, fintech hub. And the opportunity for these companies to come over here and to partner even with some existing financial institutions, help digitalize the offering that they have. But it's to get people more on the financial formal system where they can build up credit ratings, they can access credit, they can grow their business. They can access insurance. I don't know if everybody in recent years has had the full insurance they need for whenever, a certain disaster strikes or whatever it may be. So it is building up that, profile. When I first came to Latin America and I saw the interest rates, I was like, what? It's a different world in some respects, but, how do people get better rates? And it's getting on the formalized system. And like back in the UK right now, you can open a bank account sitting right here. If your smartphone and a driver's license, that's it. Mexico is developing that regulation, and we have helped through prosperity work out of the embassy in Mexico City. But it's taking time. It's finance. It's always going to be sensitive. But an example of how we are seeing that opportunity is there's a local organization, Monterrey Digital Hub. They're like a great ecosystem builder, and we partnered with them for a growth program for 5 UK fintechs, which is kind of overseen by Bano Norte, looking to bring in digital solutions, and all that. That growth program is happening now as we speak. We want to put our money where our mouth is. We invest with a local partner. We see the opportunity, and they know the local ecosystem best to be able to guide those companies and connect them so that they actually set up and be a part of the economy here.
Thank you both for your answers. This next question is for Mr. Mueller. So, and it's related with the automotive industry. We know this industry is going through huge changes in technology, and considering Germany's experience in this important industry, and now that it's been growing a lot lately in Mexico. Mexico is Germany's most important trading partner in Latin America, and in recent years, multiple German companies have established here successful operations, especially in the automotive industry, with OEMs like Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, Audi, BMW, along many other Tier 1 suppliers. So how do you envision the growth of the German automotive companies in Mexico, now that the industry is shifting towards the electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles?
Well, in the first step, I think Mexico will still be a key for the core business, no? If it's to stay with maybe your terminology, because this is where you need a lot of input from labor input, etc. No, so for Mexico, it is a big challenge, and it has to envision it, no, and have to be very clear because this will last at least 10 more years or maybe 15 more years. The US market will take much longer than the European market to change to the total electrification. I just saw a figure that in 2030 it will be still 60% will be the core business still in the US. So it's still valid to produce here in Mexico for one of the most important markets in the world in this core business. But still, if Mexico, the window is closing, so the time is closing. Many of the German car manufacturers here in Mexico are producing for the world market, not only for the US, you know, but also for other markets. So Mexico has to prepare. So this is first in terms of skills. You know, what new skills do I need? Yesterday we had a webinar together with INA. We were discussing this topic. Mexico has a huge opportunity also because 25% of the Mexican automotive suppliers are in the electrical part of the car. So this is some good news. No, all the wiring is done in Mexico. So this will be necessary also for electrical car and even more so. So this is the good side, but on all the metal parts, no, which is also very strong. Mexico is very strong in the motor blocks, as Metalsa or Nemak are, or many others. They really have to look for new business models. No, so this is really important. But we have all other suppliers like Boca, which has German origin, who are already providing the aluminum. Which sustains the battery. So they are for Tesla. No, so these are already developments which are going in the right direction. But still, other companies who are very strongly in the part of in metal producing or transforming part, they have to find new ways. No, in Mexico, and then again, there's the right skill sets for those who are coming, but also for those who are right now in the production sites. No, we don't have to forget them. We work a lot, I already said, on the dual vocational training, which is trying to raise the productivity of the new labor force which is coming into the market. But we also have to think about who are already there and how we can also improve their knowledge and that they don't get lost, no? Because this is also essential because they have to show the new generation. If we don't take them with us, we might lose the whole concept. So skills is the second topic, and the way to produce sustainably is also very, very important. No? There Mexico has these huge opportunities which they are not using in the full potential, so we really hope that this is coming back. So these would be the main topics.
Thank you. And well, this next question is for Mr. O'Kane. So the UK has led some of the most important industrial revolutions that have taken place in the world during the past centuries. So, but for the past decades, the UK has shifted successfully from manufacturing-based industry to a manufacturing-based industry that is led by technology. So currently, many of the world's best-known companies use technology innovations from the UK, including artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, among many others. So how do you think Mexico, considering that we are, I would say, a couple of years behind the UK in this shift between manufacturing to manufacturing, what would be your recommendation for Mexico, or how do you see Mexico going through this shift from manufacturing to manufacturing?
It's a good question. It's even like $1 billion question, and I wouldn't have one definitive answer to it, but there's some key components, some key things that help help develop an ecosystem where innovation flourishes and so on. Like even despite the pandemic, and 2020 in particular was a year of just mostly misery, if anything. But venture capital funding into UK tech ecosystem reached like 15 billion. It was only trailed by USA and China, and they're a little bit bigger than the UK. So I think we're a little bit like Canelo. We're the best pound for pound, but that's just my opinion. But you know, how we develop the ecosystem there, and how we can help grow and share that expertise with other, with other allies around the world, like Mexico. But there's three kind of simple steps that just kind of come straight to mind. At the early stage of research and innovation, out of the embassy in Mexico City, we've got a team leading, it's called the Newton Fund, and it is funding there to facilitate collaborations between institutions, say, that are tackling these more modern challenges. The big focus on innovating things, and being more sustainable too. Because when we think about like the leading areas of innovation, like Internet of Things, you get 5G and so on, a lot of them, one of the main areas where they can really add value is around smart cities. And smart cities, I firmly believe, are one of the keys to being sustainable cities, where they can reduce traffic and they can help people be safer, and there's ways in which they can reduce contamination. So smart cities would be key, and that's part of our strategy too. We're doing a virtual trade mission in January, presenting like companies that can provide solutions for cities to be more sustainable. Because in the case of Mexico, as I talk about that growing, dynamic population that you have here, it's like 80%. According to the UN, something 80% by 2050 is going to be living in urban areas. So, now's the time to be implementing things so that those cities are a lot more sustainable, rather than they can just, maybe go out of control and there's going to be problems with that growth as is happening in other parts of the world. So it's implementing those technologies today to benefit tomorrow. But we have another thing which is it's based out of the embassy too. It's called the Achieving Fund, which it's funded 1-year master's program for Mexican students to go to the UK, and they do their masters fully funded. But this isn't a brain drain by any means. It's a non-negotiable requirement that they have to come back to Mexico and integrate back in the economy here. We're not trying to pinch the talent here, even though there's a lot of it here in Monterrey. And so that's another point too. The actual talent that has been built here is one of the essential raw ingredients for companies that are coming out here and like expanding or partnering, or whether it be mergers and acquisitions. We want to present all the options to the companies, and that's the kind of the third element of the solution here, is in international engagement, as in Department of International Trade, my department. We're still running like virtual trade missions despite travel restrictions and all. Business has to go on, and as I referred to, like the partnership, we have a Monterrey digital hub there. We want to do more things like that where our resources permit, where we are bringing the companies out here, and we're there to help inform their decision making. But within that decision making, there's always going to be that key part. They want to know kind of what the challenges are, and who can help them with it as well. That's key, because when you look at some of these apps or platforms and so on, there's often other tech companies that are behind that. And even though, still going back to fintech here, it's a bit more of a easy market entry strategy to come in and partner with an existing financial institution, because authorization process is just that tough. It's better to merge, acquire, a partner with someone. So, we're all for the international cooperation, collaboration. It's a win-win all around. Companies that are more internationally active pay their staff more, and they're more productive, and that helps on both sides. So, I would say that that we're an international economic department, and that's our business, to help, not just to sell things and walk away, you know. It's to come out and help grow and partner in other markets around the world, and Mexico continues to be a key market for us. And like one thing that's testament to that is, you know, the UK had left the EU and it's got all these trade deals that we have to negotiate now. We just announced one with Australia, New Zealand's coming soon, but there's like 67, I think, just as they call them, rollover deals, that are just kind of temporary deals until we reach a new agreement. And out of all those that are waiting, Mexico's in the top 5 because they just see so much potential here. It's you know, USA, Mexico, Canada, and all. You know, we want the UK to be more a part of you know, of everyday business over here.
Thank you. So there's definitely a huge area of opportunity for our country to continue partnering with such developed economies like the ones from the countries that you represent. So thank you again for being a important part of contributing positively to this economic relation that our country has with Europe. Thank you. So to close the panel, I don't know if you want to share some closing remarks.
That's still on, yeah. I would just say that in my experience, particularly of Monterrey, it's a significant city by all means, but it's still a little bit undiscovered out there, you know, across some parts of Europe and so on. So it's a great narrative. It's a great story of what is going on here, of how so, you know, progressive in business it is and how welcoming it is. I mean, Invest Monterrey, I was so pleased to see recently there. You've been having a lot of these big announcements of, you know, big manufacturing companies, electronic companies and all, but then the next week you're talking about a deal with WeWork for smaller companies coming in. So it's that openness that there is here, you know, that friendly business environment. And it's, as I said, it's like a hidden gem. I mean, you know, I get up every day and look at El Cerro and I just think, God, it's brilliant to be here. And, you know, I'm always happy to promote that and, you know, share that great story with companies across the UK.
I also would like to congratulate you here in Nuevo León and Monterrey, because you really learned how to work together between the different partners, which are key to work together. You have an excellent cluster network, and you stand out with that in Mexico, I would say. So I think you really have big opportunities, and like you already said, you really have to tell the stories of success here in our countries, and we are all obviously very willing to do that. And there are always new companies, and I think there's a new opportunity now coming up, obviously, with the nearshoring, which is important in the framework of the new trade agreement you have with the US, because you're the only country who really has a secure access to this huge market, and at the same time you have the free trade agreement with the European Union. So this is the perfect match, really, and your closeness geographically to the US market. I think you have a huge opportunity there, and we are very glad as Chamber to be here and to contribute to the growth. Thank you.
Great, thank you both again for joining us today and for contributing to the economic development of Mexico and Europe. Thank you. So we're going to share from our chairman of the board a brief acknowledgement for your participation. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so continuing with our program, I would like to ask to join us in this stage Mr. Antonio Basagoiti, President of the Spanish Chamber of Commerce in Mexico and the President of Eurocam, who will address to everyone here today a message in Spanish Just a quick bio about Mr. Antonio Basagoiti. He was born in Spain and he has been a Mexican resident since 2013. He has a law degree from the University of Deusto in Bilbao, Spain. He began his career as a delegate counselor of the Education, Women and Environment area in Bilbao from 1995 to 1997. Later on, he became the CEO of the Youth Institute under the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs. He has been candidate for mayor of Bilbao in 1999, 2003, and 2007, being elected the 3 occasions as councillor and acting as spokesman and head of the opposition as leader of the second local force. Since 1999 until 2008, he was a member of the board of directors of companies such as Mercabilbao, Municipal Housing, and Bilbao Ria. Since 2014, he is a member of the board of directors of the Spanish Chamber of Commerce, executive director and head of the large company segment at Banco Santander Mexico since 2017, and finally, president of the Spanish Chamber of Commerce in Mexico since 2018. Thank you, Mr. Basagoiti.
Thank you very much. I'm so old hearing that. And it's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm going to continue in Spanish. Pretendo dar un apunte de la relación comercial de las empresas europeas con México y luego hacerles alguna reflexión. Los datos son clarificadores. Las empresas que representamos en las cámaras europeas en México representan 1/3 de la inversión extranjera directa que recibe este país, el país que nos ha acogido, México. Los datos de la relación comercial también son importantes. La Unión Europea es el tercer socio comercial de México. Representan una parte importante de las relaciones comerciales de México con países como Alemania, como UK, como Francia, como España, como Italia y como muchos otros. Solo durante el año 2020 ha habido exportaciones de la Unión Europea hacia México por valor de más de 40.000 millones de dólares. Y las importaciones europeas desde México han estado por encima de los 20.000 millones de dólares. Los datos son aún más significativos como decía antes, en la inversión extranjera directa, que también Andreas ha comentado. Somos el segundo inversor detrás de Estados Unidos como países de la Unión Europea, como empresas que están representadas en las cámaras de comercio de países europeos en México. Esta inversión, desde el año 1999, alcanza, y también es un dato que Héctor ha comentado, alcanza casi los 180.000 millones de dólares en inversión extranjera en México. Tenemos casi 18.000 empresas de origen europeo en este momento en el país. Hay 180.000 empresas de origen europeo en el país, empresas de todos los sectores, industrial, financiero, servicios, turismo, auxiliares, componentes, tecnología, telecomunicaciones, fabricación de distintos componentes. Esa es la radiografía de las empresas europeas en México. Y permítanme también que ponga en valor otra cuestión. El carácter de las empresas de origen europeo es un carácter comprometido con el país. No es una inversión que se va en una crisis, ni sale corriendo en una devaluación, ni cierra la empresa y deja en la calle a miles de trabajadores y trabajadoras. Es una inversión que los empresarios y empresarias que vienen de Europa vienen por largo plazo. Se asocian con empresas mexicanas, dan empleo a mexicanos y a mexicanas y tenemos y tienen altos estándares sociales, éticos, medioambientales, en definitiva de responsabilidad. Somos una inversión que nos gusta integrarnos en la comunidad que nos acoge y que nos gusta apostar por los trabajadores, por las trabajadoras, por sus familias y por un desarrollo que sea sostenible. En el caso de España, España es el segundo inversor en México, con casi 80.000 millones de dólares de inversión extranjera directa desde el año 1999, con presencia muy destacada en sectores como el sector financiero, como las telecomunicaciones, como el turismo o como los componentes del automóvil, entre muchos otros. Estimamos que estamos dando empleo entre directos e indirectos a casi 1 millón de ciudadanos del país que nos ha acogido. Estos datos que les facilito lo hago para que vean ustedes la importancia que tiene la inversión europea y en este caso la española en México y la apuesta continua y permanente por este país. Y la reflexión que quería hacerles en este marco es que sí hay y sigue habiendo oportunidades en México para nuestras empresas, para las empresas representadas por nuestras cámaras. México es un país que tiene un capital humano inmejorable. México es un país en el que hay muchísimas oportunidades en casi todos los sectores. México es un país que acoge muy bien al inversor. No les voy a hablar ni de la situación geográfica, ni de los acuerdos comerciales, ni de la apertura que tiene en muchos otros ámbitos. La inversión extranjera directa en México se sigue produciendo y las empresas europeas siguen invirtiendo como arrojan los datos que nos facilita la Secretaría de Economía. ¿Pudieran ser más? Pudieran ser más también. Independientemente de que se han mantenido y que continúan en épocas convulsas desde el punto de vista sanitario, creemos que se pudiera crecer más. Se habla de muchos asuntos. Hay instituciones empresariales que hablan de certeza jurídica, los hay que hablan de otras cuestiones. Yo diría que con un mayor aprecio al inversor en México, con una mayor puesta en valor de aquel que apuesta sus fondos y que apuesta su desarrollo en este país por una mayor valoración a la colaboración público-privada, por interpretar al inversor y al emprendedor privado y extranjero como alguien que ayuda al desarrollo social y económico del país. Creo que muchas otras cosas ayudarían a que crezca aún más esa inversión en el que las empresas europeas siguen mirando para México. Hoy en día en el mundo, los países, las regiones y las ciudades compiten por la inversión, compiten por traer a los mejores inversores, compiten por traer a aquellos que más trabajo dan, aquellos que son más respetuosos con el medio ambiente, aquellos que son más comprometidos socialmente, aquellos que dan mejores condiciones laborales. Y no tengo ninguna duda, por lo que he visto aquí hoy en Invest Monterrey, o por lo que sé de esta ciudad y de este país, que México es un buen lugar para la inversión, pero Monterrey y Nuevo León lo es especialmente, por las condiciones, por el aprecio al inversor que decía y por lo que facilita para que las personas y las empresas venidas de otros lugares del mundo puedan invertir aquí. Creo que es una buena opción Nuevo León, que es una buena opción Monterrey. La existencia de Invest Monterrey lo demuestra. El contenido de esta mañana también ayuda a argumentarlo y la historia y la realidad de Monterrey ayuda a apuntar a esa dirección. Creo que estamos en un buen lugar para la inversión de empresas europeas en México. Muchas gracias. Gracias.
Muy bien, muchísimas gracias al señor Basagoiti por su mensaje y hemos pedido al señor Basagoiti y a nuestro presidente Andrés Ochoa Bunzo que se queden en el escenario para firmar un convenio de colaboración entre la Camescom e Invest Monterrey. A través de este acuerdo, ambas organizaciones reafirman su compromiso con el desarrollo económico de España y de México. Muy bien, muchas gracias. Okay, so thank you. ¿Está bien? ¿Está? Okay, so before giving way to today's keynote presentation, I would like to invite to this stage Mr. José Ángel Zapata, Aeromexico's National Sales Director, who will share with us some very good news that will improve the connectivity between Mexico, Monterrey, and Europe.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor. I'm really honored and excited to be here with you this morning. My presentation is a little bit more different than the previous presenters. Mine is more of a commercial one, but I'm really excited to be here with you this morning, representing Aeromexico. I'm going to start giving you a quick overview of our airline, especially for those of you who don't know who we are, especially our friends in Europe. Sorry about that. Okay, who's Aeromexico? Aeromexico, we have been Mexico's flag carrier for the last 85 years. We currently employ over 13,000 employees all over the world, and with a fleet of 115 aircraft. It's a mix of 787s, 737s, and Embraer 190s. Good news is recently we placed an order for 40 new Boeing aircraft, 737s and 787s. Expect to have most of them delivered by the end of next year. Very aggressive growth plans where we are very excited about it. Our main hub is in Mexico City, where we currently have over 200 daily departures. That's about 400 operations per day, serving 41 destinations in Mexico. That's correct. I think over there it says 42, but Mexico City will be 42. So it's 41 cities in Mexico from Mexico City, plus 36 cities all over internationally, including US, Canada, Asia, Europe, Latin America, and the Caribbean. So we can say Aeromexico is truly a global airline. We also are a founding member of the SkyTeam Alliance. It's currently formed by 20 airlines worldwide. And we also proudly joined venture partner with Delta Airlines in the Mexico-US transporter market. So this is our network. So I don't know about you, but me personally, I'm in sales, and every time I get a new product to sell, I get very excited, especially when it's a good product and you have the right market for it. So when we got invited to participate in Invest Monterrey and learned that most of the participants are people from Europe interested in investing in Monterrey, I got really, really excited. I remember talking to Daniel Torres, who is our regional sales manager here in Monterrey. He's present here with us today, about this opportunity. The first thing I said to him, this is a great chance for us to showcase our new service between Monterrey and Madrid. It's a service that we're going to start on December 16th. We're going to start easy with 3 weekly flights with our 787-900 aircraft Dreamliner. This is a very convenient service for people traveling between Europe and Mexico. Main reasons why: you will no longer, actually somebody was talking about that earlier, the connectivity between Europe and Monterrey. This is going to make your lives much easier. Reason number one that comes to mind is you no longer will have to connect via US or Mexico City. Number two, both of our flights are overnighters, so you get to fly, to get to sleep or rest a little bit and arrive fresh to your destination, whether it's in Europe or Monterrey, especially if you're flying in business class. Number three, you also have, and this is very important, this flight doesn't not only means Madrid, Monterrey, also means more than 20 destinations in Europe. Together with our joint venture, with our co-share partner, Air Europa, you will be able to connect with one single ticket between 20 cities in Europe and Monterrey. This is very good news for you. And we also get to earn or accrue points or miles on our Mexico's loyalty program or one of our SkyTeam member airlines. about the plane we're going to be using for this service is 787-900, as I mentioned earlier, Dreamliner. This is one of the most modern, comfortable, and fuel-efficient planes in the industry. Right now, our 787-900 offers 274 seats, comfortable seats, including 32 seats in our La Premier, Clase Premier, which is our business class cabin, featuring live flight seating. Basically, it's a bed. With each seat, we'll have direct access to an aisle with our renowned or recognized Aeromexico in-flight service. But I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm going to give you the chance to view a video. It's a very short video which will highlight all the features and attributes of this beautiful aircraft. What do you think? It's a beautiful plane. For those of you who have not had the chance to fly on this aircraft, I invite you to do so. You will really enjoy the travel experience, especially if you fly in business class cabin. You saw the live flight seats? They're really, really good. Okay, down to business. If your company or organization already has a corporate sales agreement with Aeromexico or a global sales agreement with Air France, KLM, Aeromexico Delta, or one of our global deal with one of our Sky Team members, your company will already have, or U.S. travelers, a large number of benefits, including the corporate discounts when you travel, but also access to our corporate priority benefits, which include access to preferred seating, free of charge, free checked luggage, priority boarding, and other perks. If you don't have a deal with us and you're interested in learning more about this, or actually, I forgot to mention something very important, and I apologize for that. This flight also represents a good opportunity to move cargo. If you have the need to move cargo between Europe and Monterrey, I think this will be a much quicker way for you to do that. So if you need to have information on or any of our corporate sales programs or cargo programs, I invite you to please reach out to one of our sales offices, whether in Europe or Monterrey. You have the names and the email addresses in front of you. Please do so, reach out to them. They will be more than happy to share with you all the different programs that we have out there. It doesn't matter the size of your travel program, we have the right program for you. In closing, this flight represents a very good opportunity for those of you who we're thinking about investing in Monterrey or already investing in Monterrey to travel between Europe, more than 20 destinations, and Monterrey. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Zapata. This new flight will definitely improve connectivity between our country and Europe. So we're going to move forward with our keynote presentation for today. To close the event, we will give way to the keynote presentation by Mr. Jorge Pedro Aznar, Minister Counselor and Head of the Economic and Trade Section of the Delegation of the European Union in Mexico. Allow me to share a brief bio about Mr. Jorge Pedro Aznar. He's been working in international relations for more than 30 years with special emphasis on economic, commercial, political, and environmental matters. Since 2012, and before taking office in Mexico, Jorge was responsible for international environmental relations with the European Commission, including trade and sustainable development, multilateral environmental negotiations and agreements, and the implementation of the European Green Deal. He has been the head of the Political, Economic, Trade, Information, and Communication section of the Delegation of the European Union to South Africa, as well as head of the Trade section of the Delegation of the European Commission to Brazil. He has also worked in the European External Action Service in Brussels, being responsible for relations with Southeast Asia. He was based before 2002 in Brussels, working for the European Commission. In this period, he dealt with a wide range of trade issues, regional and bilateral negotiations and agreements, as well as subject matters relating to intellectual and industrial property, geographical indications, trade barriers, safeguards, import licenses, sanitary measures, technical barriers, among others. He has also coordinated trade relations between the European Union and the United States. Finally, before working for the European Union, Mr. Jorge Pedro Aznar was a partner in an international law firm based in Brussels, specializing in European legal matters. After having completed his LLM in European Legal Studies at the University of Exeter in the United Kingdom, and previously his law degree from the University of Valencia in Spain. Thank you, Mr. Pedro Aznar, for being here.
Hello, everybody. I'm not sure whether you hear me properly because I have some wires inside. I felt like it was FBI that was checking me. It is a real pleasure to be here. It's the first time that I come to Monterrey. I want to thank specifically Andreas, Hector, and the whole team of Invest Monterrey. Also the University of Monterrey for hosting us, and most importantly, everyone here, and I believe also that there is connection online, so I'm delighted to be here. I must, first of all, ask for your indulgence. I am quite fresh out of the plane, not only in Monterrey, but in Mexico. So I only joined a couple of weeks ago, the team here. So I ask for your indulgence, also for my English. I normally would speak in Spanish, but here we are speaking in English. And my ambition, in any case, is to open a door. I'm going to give you an overview of the trade relations, and in particular the agreement between Mexico, the trade agreement between Mexico and the European Union. But first of all, I want to open a door to all the participants here online, to the European enterprises, to the Mexican enterprises, to the civil society, to academics. The European delegation is here to foster relations, the European delegation in Mexico, to foster relations between Europe and Mexico, myself particularly in the economic and trade section. I'm going to ask also, I'm going to apologize because everyone has talked about sustainability. And I have a small slide on that, but I want to make a point because I think that is essential. You mentioned, Hector, thank you very much for the kind introduction, the European Green Deal. I want to, before entering the specifics about the European Union-Mexico agreement, I want to refer to the European Green Deal, which is the priority of the European Commission for the next years. What is it? What is the European Green Deal? It is an agenda, a full agenda to transform our economic, social, and environmental model, how we do things. And that, I think, has been highlighted by all the enterprises and also all the interventions from the chambers of commerce. So that I want to highlight that. At the center, there are many components of the European Green Deal. We've talked about sustainable mobility. That is very much one of them. Energy efficiency, energy renewals. The way we do things, Lego, so Daimler, circular economy, I think great examples. All that, the tackling climate change, which is published, the European Commission in July, the objective, in fact, in English is Fit for 55. In Spanish, we have translated it as Objetivo 55. The European Union has not only a commitment, but a legal obligation, because it has been put in the climate law, to be climate neutral by 2050. And one step towards that climate neutrality, it has been the Fit for 55, which is that by 2030, we are aiming at a 55% reduction of emissions, 55% reduction of emissions. That is a huge increase compared to our previous commitments. So I thought it was important to highlight that. In any case, for the agreement, if we need to cut it short, I apologize. We will be open. We are in the City of Mexico, and we'll be delighted to come back here. But I thought that just that whole context of the European Green Deal is important for Europe, but our ambition is to cooperate with partners, to cooperate with Mexico in making sure that the same type of approach is applied worldwide. In fact, I was 2 days ago speaking at the Green Expo in Ciudad de Mexico, and one of the questions that I got was, but European companies, all those standards, all that is very nice in Europe, but when they come here, what do? Well, I think we had great example of Daimler and Lego that explain very much, and also, for example, Antonio mentioned more generally the importance of sustainability. So just as I said, please indulge me for this small introduction. I'm going to check my watch, and Hector, you tell me if I'm going over time, please. As I say, my ambition is just to give a few ideas on what is happening. First of all, the context, because maybe many of you are not so much aware of the European Union and its role in the trade context. Secondly, explain why we have a new agreement. And third, modernization of the global agreement. I see also, I didn't know that Andreas has all the experience from the previous agreement, so if I need some help, I'm sure he'll be able to offer it. In fact, I'm digressing once again. At the beginning of the 90s, I negotiated with Mexico the intellectual property clauses, and in the mid-90s, second half, it was more the safeguards and trade defense clauses. So, but all this takes time, because the agreements came, I'm talking about the existing agreement, into force, were signed in 2000, 2001 for trade and services. So just a bit of a background. So participation of the EU in global trade. Here's a little bit of a mix between 2020 for goods and 2019 for services, but just to give an idea. So Europe in global trade covers 16.8% of global trade in goods and services. You see that the United States and China are around 13, 14, and Japan and the United Kingdom, which until very recently we could have had the European Union higher up, but now it's also very important at 4.3%, as I say, combining roughly 2019, 2020 trade in goods and services. Trade, why the European Union? In fact, trade is exclusive competence of the European Union. The European Union negotiates trade in goods, trade in services, foreign direct investment, and that for all the member states. Obviously, we are a team. We do things together with the embassies here, with the commercial offices of the member states. We work hand in hand, and also with the member states in Europe. But why this? Because there is a single internal market. Sometimes we see that we say, well, this country, this other country. In fact, within Europe, it is one market. That is of the 27 member states. There are common external borders, so when exports from Mexico enter Europe, it doesn't matter which country they enter in, it is a common external border. And there are harmonized rules that ensure the integrity of this single internal market within Europe. The Commission, what it does is like the executive branch of the European Union. What they do is negotiate and implement the free trade agreements, represent at WTO level, also bilaterally, ensure market access, deal with all these matters. Trade promotion is very much something that remains in the hands of the member states and the commercial offices and the chambers of commerce and so on. Just also an overview, what are the levels of commercial policy? We have, first of all, the World Trade Organization that sets the basic global rules. Then we have bilateral and regional agreements, the existing one with Mexico and a modernized one, which is going to be the subject of the presentation. And then there are also unilateral concessions that the countries give, the European Union gives, particularly for poorer countries. EBA stands for everything but arms. It's mainly for African countries so that they get free duty access into the European Union, except for arms. All the rest is tariff-free. GSP is General System of Preferences. It is also a system to get preferences, usually for lower income countries. Just maybe what I want to point out there is that what we see as tariffs over time, including with Mexico, have been going down for most products, particularly industrial. I think most people here are in the industrial sector. For industrial products, the importance of services for indirect investment, procurement, IPR, trade facilitation is what is coming up. And that is to a large extent, but not only, what the new agreement between the European Union and Mexico is tackling. Oops, well, I just went to have one. So there are some figures already that have been given. Exports from the EU to Mexico around close to 40 billion euros. I think that's to 2020. And on services, around 14 billion euros. They're very important quantities. I think that the services is 2019. The pandemic has obviously affected these flows, but we see signs of recovery, and we are very much hopeful. Also, it's very important the trade, the exports from Mexico to the European Union, close to 25 billion euros, and over 6.4 in services, goods and services. So we have a very strong economic and trade relationship. Foreign direct investment, there have been also some figures, I think, given by Antonio, but there you have over 40 billion euros of Mexican investment, long-term investment in Europe, and 152. Those are figures from 2000 to 2020. What is mainly exported? You'll see that in both sides, and this is, I think, very relevant for Monterrey, is machinery and transport equipment from here, EU exports to Mexico, followed by chemical and related products and manufactured products. Those really take the bulk. But if we see from Mexican exports to the EU, again, also mainly machinery and transport equipment, and there is mineral fuels, lubricants, and related materials that come second, but followed again by manufactured and chemical products. So there is a very balanced relationship. What we need to see, and we'll see that the new agreement, is more the food and agro sector to have that develop further. New Leon, there have also, I think Hector has been referring to it, and other speakers. More than 640 Mexican companies in Nuevo Leon have European investment in their capital, over 18 billion US dollars of FDI in Nuevo Leon. Here we have some of them we haven't seen. I didn't even know. Daimler first, Lego first for Denmark. We have Germany, Denmark, Spain, France, Netherlands, Ireland, Czech Republic. So it's not just the big ones. You'll see that you have Belgium, Slovakia, Finland, Luxembourg, Czech Republic, Ireland, also present in Nuevo Leon. So it is clearly an example, something to follow. Why a new agreement? The existing agreement has been successful. Bilateral trade has increased over 200%. But it is, we are in new times that require, first of all, increased market access, because not all the areas were covered, fully covered. Also, there's trade facilitation. There are common ambitions, such as I mentioned, sustainability. Common objectives to ensure a free, open, and rules-based trade. All that is at the basis of keeping with the times and ensuring that the economic and trade relationship continues to grow. That led us to a new agreement. I'm going to look now at the new agreement that has been negotiated. Food and beverages sector. It is where there was, from the goods point of view, a large potential from the tariff point of view, because it was lagging behind. And there, for example, from the EU perspective, the exports for poultry, the custom duties, the tariffs were up to 100%, would go down to zero. Cheese, 45%, down to zero. Did you say pig? Oh, when you say, well, pig, I don't know whether that's the term in English. 45% down to zero. Chocolate, 20% down to zero. Pasta, I love it, 20% down to zero. And so it's not just tariffs, also extended protection for geographical indications, food products and spirits on both sides, and also facilitation. Often there are sanitary and phytosanitary barriers, so the new agreement tries to tackle all of those. Industrial products, mainly it was already tariff-free, but so there is maintenance of the duty-free market access, and then there is looking at all the so-called technical barriers to trade and related, trade facilitations, customs, ensure international standards, simplify product controls, information more easily available. All that is part of the new agreement. Simplify customs procedure. I already mentioned it. It's, at the end of the day, it's simplification and ensuring that the standards are similar between the European Union and Mexico. Let me take a quick look at my watch. Trading services. Particular opportunities, mainly for both sides. Financial sector, all that is in Spanish. I'm sorry, I didn't have it in English. From the postal services, telecommunications, transport, digital trade in general. So there is increased market access. There's already an agreement on services. As I say, it was the typical agreement negotiated over 20 years ago. And now it is expanded access on both sides to the services. Equal treatment, from a legal perspective, that is in fact called national treatment, which means that you cannot discriminate. You have to treat European companies in Mexico in the same way you treat Mexican companies, and the other way around. Mexican companies in Europe, the way you treat European companies. So you have to give them the national treatment, equal treatment. And there are also clauses to ensure predictability, legal certainty, to ensure that the rules of the game are clear, and those are the rules we're going to play with. Public procurement, also a new area expanded. This was concluded last year, this part of the new agreement, so it's quite recent. It offers more access, in fact, quite great access to both companies, Mexican companies in Europe and the other way around. For example, for EU companies, they will be able to tender for public-private partnerships, contracts, as well as the sub-federal level. It will be open. Similar access is given to Mexican companies in Europe. Transparency of the processes is increased. Intellectual property, I will not get into all the detail. You can see it, and I imagine that the presentation will be distributed to the participants. But what I want to say is that, in fact, I was a bit mixed feelings because I negotiated the intellectual property of the previous agreement, and now my colleagues say, well, those are outdated. That's not good enough. So, and now it's true because at the time we referred to international standards generally, and now there is more coverage substantive regarding patents, industrial designs, which I think are essential for the companies here, ensure protection for 25 years as well, including complex designs. We can get, I will not get into the detail of that. Patents, also sometimes there is a process, it's called pipeline protection, because it takes time to get the market authorization. This is mainly in the pharmaceutical area, for example. It takes time to get authorization and you lose time of the patent. So there can be compensation for that. And there are also measures at border. Geographical indications. This is always fun to talk about. So we have, there is increased protection. There was already protection, but there is increased protection on both sides. So from Spain, for example, we have sherry, cheese, Comté from France, from Germany, Nürnberger, well, I will not pronounce it because I don't speak German, also from Greece, from Portugal, well, from all over Europe, and also indications in Mexican indications in Europe. Digital trade is another part that was not covered before, and now obviously is essential. The agreement aims at removing obstacles to online trade, introduce rules in order to have safely operate online, as well as have legal certainty, and obviously protect consumers. SMEs, the modernized agreements contributes to a small company's ability to export more. Why? Because first of all, there is more information available. Also, as I said, the legal certainty and the clarity and the facilitation of the procedures will help them to trade between Mexico and the European Union. Sustainable development, both labor and environment. I already talked a bit at the beginning about this, so I'll leave it there just to say that this is not just one part of the bilateral agreement, but most importantly is the priority number one for the European Union for the future. Corruption is also dealt with. Investments, one of the, again, it aims at facilitating, and I think what is most important is providing legal certainty, what are the rules of the game. And for that also, there is an independent court system. Before, there used to be the so-called state to investor dispute settlement, and it was extremely controversial. So here now, the agreement provides a new system of independent judges with even appeal. So it ensures legal certainty for the investors. So what are the main opportunities with the modernized agreement? Agricultural products, including processed foods and geographical indications, public procurement, services, and trade, and for the industrial side, mainly on the trade facilitation aspects, rules of origin, customs, sanitary and phytosanitary rules. Obviously, that's also more on the agro side, and intellectual property. So this is the agreement. We are just now finalizing the legal aspects in order to allow the signature, and but the important thing will be the application, because the controlling, let's say, putting things on paper is fine. Then the real world is where you, businesses, chambers of commerce, have to ensure that this is really working and tell us what is not working. And there I want to make a reference specifically to the Eurocam. Antonio represents the Eurocam here. It is important not only all the chambers of commerce of the different member states, also represented by Andreas for Germany and Antonio himself for Spain, but the Eurocam working together, because as I said, there is a single market, there are common interests, and that so the contact with the chambers or with the business is essential for us. Here, I want to finish digressing again. I started digressing and I finished digressing, but so that you can take the link, the online link. This is a very useful tool for investors, for trade exporters and importers. And what it does, it gives you all the necessary information, particularly, for example, for Mexico to access the European market. So I leave it there. I'm even short in time, so I went very quickly. I hope that I didn't rush you too much. I just want to thank you for your attention, for your patience, and I'm at your disposal. Thank you very much. Thank you. Gracias. I didn't take my mask.
It's okay, no worries. Okay, so on behalf of Invest Monterrey, we would like to thank all the attendees present here today and joining us virtually for being here and being part of this first edition of Invest Monterrey Business Talks Europe. With your support, this will be the first event of many more to come. Thank you again to our special guests, and thank you everyone. Thank you.
Laisse tomber les filles, un jour c'est toi qu'on le saura. Laisse tomber les filles.